Okay, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Policy and Procedure Committee, Thursday, June 29, 2017. Call the roll, please.
Sure.
Here.
Raymond. Anderson. Barron.
Here.
Bill. Crumweedy. Sticknut.
Yes. Are there any public comments? Yes, sir.
I'm a fill-in community from one sanitary district. I don't know if this is done.
You can speak now if you like, or you can wait till then. Okay. Committee chair reports. Russell Bills.
Highway for this month, on the agenda we'll be doing our bid opening on a bridge that we tried last month and was unsuccessful getting bids that we was looking for, so we're going to try it again. So rebid there. Other than that, we got an engineering agreement on another bridge that will probably get stamped and gone through the committee. Claims. So bridge will be the biggest thing.
File management.
We're going to talk about rent or whatever, contracts for 911 rent. And mostly just take regular reports.
Okay.
I guess we'll be talking projects, big projects, capital improvement projects.
What about judicial?
Regular reports.
Okay. Marvin, tax.
We'll, of course, be receiving all the department head reports. At the last county board meeting, there were some serious accusations leveled at animal control. We may have to go into executive session to sort out the validity of them and what may follow from them, depending on what the committee determines.
Okay. Eric?
Your EMA or PHC
The EMA first.
Well, folks, over the past month, we've had a number of storms that have kept us very busy. Ultimately, not fairly much damage. Obviously, down, possibly a rural house lost power and storms. I know, Stockland area, the roads got washed out and they received just about 7 inches of rain but all the nothing major. The LEPC approved a revision of the hazardous response plan. That's just an annual thing that we need to update since we're on the date, see what they say about it. I've been working on a pipeline tabletop exercise that we're going to be having for the LEPC with the Narder Fire Department and Marathon Pipeline Company. That is scheduled for the 25th of July. And I'm pretty excited about that, actually. Starting to work on planning efforts for fair. I'm going to have a presence out there. We'll see if that goes through at May 9. Besides that, moving forward, I'm working on my annual training and exercise plan. It's been about a month. So learners or your different areas if you have concerns about training exercise, I think, or hazard think, specify your area, let me know. Try to put that in our plans. I'll also be planning my national advisory committee meeting. Something I'm trying to do. I had the first one back in January and February, and I'm going to be trying to do that twice a year. And those are main things. Any questions?
I guess seeing then you can go on to the PA system report.
Gerhard got back on that with some reductions in equipment, brings the price down to around $5,000. that in mind, that there's still going to be a couple extra pieces of equipment, because when the orders the equipment, if you order it in packages, you can get a lower price. Get like 2 extra microphones, such like that, which ultimately is a good idea. It'll also be room for infrastructure to expand on the system in the future if you want. That's what remember last month I presented to you guys a proposal. There was extra equipment on there that did not need extra microphones specifically in my equipment. To reduce that comes down to around $5,000.
Well, see how she works. If we can turn it on, turn it off. Looks good. Looks easy.
Yeah.
Okay, if this is something that we're gonna go ahead with, the money would come from the contingency line in the general fund. It's the only place we can find money to do this upgrade.
I know it's been talked about for a year or
Talking about it for
so.
a long time now, we got something to really look pretty hard at here, make some decisions about. I don't know that we need to do that today necessarily. I guess the question in my mind is we're saying around $5,000. Can we get a full number from the fellow? Where are we at with that?
I believe that's the firmest we're going to get when it comes to ordering this equipment.
Well, he's looking for the exact dollar amount.
I understand.
In other words,
I mean, at least if he can't pin the thing down exactly, I think we ought to at least have a not to exceed amount.
I agree. A not to exceed amount. Approving the not to exceed amount is probably the best way to do this.
Right. Can you talk to him about getting that information, and then we can put it on the agenda next month and just bring the thing to a head?
Of course. But is this something that seems feasible to this committee? At this point, I've taken up a lot of discussion.
I understand. I think what was presented last month is in line with what we were talking about that we would like to do.
And the dollar amount is at least something we're pursuing to see if it's available.
It's a lot of money, but then again, the benefit I think is substantial.
Okay.
it looks like the, based off a little bit of equipment set here, it's very expandable off that, so we can easily add things in the future to it without the main piece of equipment, the processing unit, needing to be touched.
Yes, that is one of the other benefits, I'm sure.
I think that if it makes it more legible, more understandable on the YouTube website, it'd be a great advantage, because a lot of the stuff you just have to struggle and you still can't make out what's being said.
Even when you know what's being said, you still can't understand what's being said.
Right.
Sometimes that same situation occurs in the meetings we have with him.
That's very correct. So do we, for him to proceed, do we need action that will update the system and put a maximum of $5,000 on it?
Well, I guess we could do that. I don't know if, the other way around, or to talk with the gentleman and see what his not to exceed amount, or what he would agree to, or not to exceed amount. I mean, we can do it either way, except if we say not to exceed $5,000, and he says he won't agree to that, then that kind of back to square one.
The proposal I presented last month was $6,000.
But you said that wasn't a firm number at that time either, hadn't you?
It's what he said. I believe his proposal said not to exceed $6,000, including labor. And I have that in my phone. Look at it. But to be safe, being that I used to do this type of work on a minor level, incidents do happen. Something doesn't work, and we go in to purchase the last piece of equipment. Perhaps approving not to exceed $500 would be safe. County board protect what you will pay, and also to make sure the project gets done right. And I'm not looking for that to happen right now.
Is there 5,500 as a contingency fund?
you'd like to do, I mean, you can do
I
that
think we
now.
need to move ahead with it, you know,
You can do
so,
it now or wait till-
and so it seems like every month we're looking at basically the same type of information. We kind of beat on it last month because it was a little bit extra, appeared to be a little bit extra than what we would need there, and so, yeah. I would move that we, go ahead with this and with a maximum of $5,500 now.
I would second the motion.
Okay, motion and a second, is there any further discussion?
Just as a note, I'll be doing my best to set aside time to work with him on the installation, and he also said that he would come and train people, give a one-time training session, so hopefully with my help and all that, it should keep the cost pretty low.
That's pretty important here, so. Okay, no further discussion, we'll call the roll, please, Brandon.
Sure.
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Sticknut.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0. Move on to the next one, is a discussion and action on a proposed county ordinance clarifying the powers and duties of ETSB. There isn't a whole lot to report on that today, other than the legislation in Springfield, Senate Bill 1839, has still not been signed by the governor. Information I was given a couple days ago is it's probably not likely that he will sign it. So where that's going to leave us with 911 going forward as well as this, I don't know at the moment. I do have a telephone conference scheduled for tomorrow morning with some people down there, and we'll shed some more light on the matter. At the moment, that's where we stand, so I don't think there's anything that we necessarily can do today with any of that, other than be aware of what's going on. And obviously, if the governor doesn't sign that legislation, it certainly raises a lot of questions going forward, because the statute that's in existence right now is scheduled to expire tomorrow. Okay. Next would be discussion and action on revising the county vacation policy. You all got a copy of that in front of you. The part that is to be revised or clarified is underlined in yellow. Basically what's being talked about is clarifying the amount of time a person doesn't take their vacation time and carries it over into the following year. They can under no conditions exceed 4 weeks taking it in a given year. I guess they could accumulate as much as they wanted, but they couldn't take more than 4 weeks in a year. Is that what we're saying in here?
Well, no, the issue we have that somebody has accumulated almost 9 weeks of vacation. They haven't taken, they're allowed to, they've been taking like a week for the last several years. They're now up to 9 weeks. And I kind of pushed back and said, you can't have that much on the book. We have a policy that says the max for 4 weeks. Only I went back and read it, and we didn't put that in the policy. It's in our union contract, not in our policy. So it does become an issue. So you want to probably address 2 things. One, what the maximum is, how much you'll allow somebody to carry over. In most, you want people to take their vacation, right? That's the right thing to do. They need time away from work. They need downtime. It's good for the office. It's good for the employee. It's not good to not take your vacation. The other thing it does is put us at a liability in case, let's say they decide they want to take 9 weeks off. And our offices are pretty strapped. So that's an issue. The second issue, or third issue, I guess, the AFSCME contract says that employees can cash out vacation. buy it back. That's not necessarily a good thing. I worked a lot of places that do not allow that. Because same thing. People won't take it. They want a little extra money, and they'll not take their vacation for cash. That doesn't give them the break they need away from work. And sometimes if employees have personal issues with money management, it can encourage that behavior. It's not necessarily a good thing. So I don't know if you want to put something in that allows to cash back part of this, or not all of their excess. That doesn't pay off the excess. I don't know what you want to do. We have an issue with an employee now whose supervisor talks to them about he's going to buy back 2 weeks of 9, and the rest he's going to take over the next year to get it down where it needs to be. But what we need is a policy to kind of address it so it doesn't happen again. And then you want to address whether or not we'll allow buying back. You want to address how much somebody can roll over. Sometimes something happens in an office where if there's a major, let's say Lisa bought a new voter system, and it was a big deal, and it was hard to get up and moving, and Korean couldn't take her vacation, she had to work on getting voting up by the election. That's just a for instance. So in this 1 year, Korean take all her vacation. I think you want to allow for some flexibility, but to be able to roll over weeks and weeks, that's not good.
In the case of the individual that has accumulated 9 weeks, my first question though was, what we're looking at right here, that person can only take as much as 4 weeks in any given year. They can't take the whole 9 weeks in 1 year.
Well, I think what you do is you change your policy now. You document current situation, allow him to down his vacation this year. It doesn't say he can't take more than 4 weeks. What this wording in the ASME policy says is that you can't carry more than 4 weeks on the book. You can't have more than a 4 weeks accrued vacation time on the books. I'm not saying that's the right or the wrong answer, but that's what the ASME contract.
In section 2, you say under no conditions can vacation time exceed 4 weeks in a given year. That means you can't take more than 4 weeks in any 1 year, even though you might have accumulated more than that.
Well, I would think if each policy, whatever they're now trying to be grandfathered down and worked out, which is the case.
I think that's what you have to do.
I understand, but I'm just using that to make sure we understand what this wording is.
Yeah, a given year.
In a given year, you can only, the most you could take is 4 weeks. Because if you had 10 weeks rolled over, you could still only take 4 in any 1 given year.
That's not the way we've ever implemented it here. It's always been implemented that's the most they could carry on the book. 4 weeks in a given year. Well, which would end up being that's the most they could take. That's the max you can carry. It's about that way.
And then if they separate it from the employment, then the most they can be paid is that 4 weeks if they have that on the book.
Right.
So in other words, we don't want the budget buster to have to pay out 9 weeks if that employee separates from the employment. I mean, that could be a significant sum in that particular budget. So we're looking at maxing it out at 4 weeks on the books as a bank also. I think you can only bank up to 4 weeks of vacation.
Well, what I'm saying is the wording here, what we want, do we all understand what it means going forward, or do we need to change anything? That's what I'm talking about, because, are we saying you can never, if you roll over your vacation time, that can never exceed a total of 4 years accumulated?
4 weeks.
And is
4 weeks.
4 weeks the right number? Is it, because 4 weeks is that maximum vacation time, that 15 years? You want to make it 5. I don't know. Somebody can't take 4 weeks and now all of a sudden they got 5, it almost perpetuates the problem. I don't know what the right answer is. Anybody else has thoughts?
I got two employees that have 4 weeks vacation because it's on the contract, and they know they put all 4 weeks, so they lose it because of, you know, I'm happy with that, because I don't want them off any more than 4 weeks.
It is.
I don't want to keep letting them roll over another week, five the next year, that's too much. That's not fun.
Oh, yeah.
I understand that we don't want anybody to take more than 4 weeks in any one year. The question is, how much can they accumulate?
My point is, where it's written, they roll over to 5 weeks. They change it to 5 weeks maximum in the contract, they negotiate that.
I wouldn't change, I'm not talking about the contract. I would leave asking where it is.
As president, we've always kind of aligned to ourselves with the contract. And I'm just saying, if they know they have 4 weeks on the book, they take it. That's enough. They're gone a month. I can live with that. But if you let them roll over for another week, and they only take 3 weeks one year and 5 weeks the next year, that could be a problem. Four is plenty for
I'm still not sure that we're all understanding what I'm saying, though. I understand we don't want them to take more than 4 weeks in any given year, but does that mean they can't accumulate more than that? You had whatever number, like the individual that has 9 weeks as an example. We're saying that they can only take 4 of those 9 weeks in any one given year, so they would still have 5.
Going forward.
That's what I'm asking, you know, do we want to have something like that in here?
Well, going forward, it would be 4 weeks maxed out, and the policy would then...
Yeah, I'm wondering, what do you do if you got 5 weeks and you can only use 4? What do you do with
Nobody gets 5 weeks, do they?
So over to the next year, you carry that forward, and you take 3 weeks.
What's the most anybody pays like 4? So as long as you never give them more than 4 weeks a year, which if you say more than that's going to hurt your department. So 4 is the most they'll ever accumulate, and they must use it in the year.
An employee that's entitled to 4 weeks and doesn't take it in one given year, rolls one over till the next year, now they got 5.
They can't do that. According to this, they can only, if we go by this, they can only accumulate 4.
Well, that's what they go by, the AFSCME.
And that's what we're looking at, is aligning the policy with the AFSCME contract, correct?
It's kind of a use it or lose it. So if you don't take all of your 4 weeks, you can't bank another week into the next year. Your max is still 4 weeks that next year.
Right, so you lose it. If you were entitled to 4 weeks, you have to take it in that year or you lose it.
Right.
Now, I don't know if we make an exception for like what Anita was saying, where, you know, in the November, December area, somebody's department suddenly, you know, they had, but then make...
All offices know when their busy times are and things like that.
And they have to approve their vacation with you anyway.
Yeah.
So the department head will just take care of it.
Like different areas of the office have times that it's busy and that person knows that they can't take off any time. So they always work on scheduling their time off at a different time. I don't see.
I don't know how the union contract is worded, but that way it's worded seems to work for that group of people. Now for the non-union people, to word something similar, and then for the max period. So if you know that you got 2.5 weeks on the book, and anniversary coming up, and you're going to get 3 weeks vacation, you at least enough to get that on 4 weeks. So I'm roll on 3 and 10, so you lose it. I think that was fine.
Okay, I'm not going to paddle with them any further. I still don't think we got it right, but that's okay.
What do you think is missing?
Well,
somebody that's got 4 weeks, if they don't take that 4 weeks in a given year, they're stuck. They lose. Okay, if I got 3 weeks coming, and I only take 2 and roll 1 over till the next year, I could take 4 weeks that year.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Okay, that gives me some advantage, or and it maybe penalizes the guy that is entitled to 4 weeks. He can't roll anything over.
Right, right.
The other people can.
It's unfortunate.
Well, then you want to put something in there that allows for a payout. Nothing in there that allows for a payout of vacation time.
I mean, I thought in the case, going back to the example of the person that has 9 weeks accumulated, you say, okay, you can take 4 weeks this year, you still have 5 left. And you take 4 weeks then and so forth until you're back, you're back down to where you should be. There's probably never going to be any way to completely resolve the matter. Somebody's going to find some excuse or loophole to do something different than what we're intending to be done. But I'm just saying, if the guy would get 4 weeks in a sense to get penalized, you may have a reason why he can't take those 4 weeks that may be good and valid. If the supervisor wants to prove him getting paid out for that, I guess that's a solution to this. You also,
I guess the only way to address that would be to put in there that if the department had approved it and the committee approves it, then it can go forward. There's nothing, all your employees are asking, governed by the contract. So it's not going to matter.
No, but other departments are not.
Yeah, but how many of us are we talking about?
20.
Don't have vacation.
There's about 20 of them.
Yeah, I don't care what, how many days.
I know you don't, but I'm telling you, this person cares. They were very clear that they care. And I don't want to hear about it yet. I want it very clear in here to protect my department, so that when we're trying to implement these things, I don't need somebody calling me up. It's got to be clearly written, and they have to understand this. What it says. That's all I'm saying.
Not open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Right. You either max it out at a certain year level, or you max it out at number of vacations that you are entitled to, because depending on your year of service. There's only two ways to max it out. Right? I mean, I'm going to get 3 years, because my year of service.
Right.
The most I could ever have, right at that. You can only have carry over. You can only max out the number of correlating to the year of service. I always have to use my 3 weeks. On my anniversary day, because I'll give you 0, and I get my 3 weeks vacation. If I don't use those 3 weeks, I'll lose whatever the difference is.
So you're saying you believe not allow any carryover whatsoever?
No, I'm not saying that. There's only 2 ways to make a feeling on this. You either back it out based on your year of service, or you back it out at a certain year like life differently.
Right. Exactly.
In other words, creating kind of a bank of additional vacation time that you can have banked up, that if you don't use in any particular year, you can carry it over up to a certain level, like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, or whatever.
And the increment is 10 years, then 15 years, from 3 weeks to 4 weeks. I mean,
Anybody that's been here 15 years is going to want to take a 4 week vacation and get out of here.
Yeah.
So what I could put in the policy is this. Say that I can put the line in that under no circumstances can time off in a given year, vacation time used exceed 4 weeks. And then I'll also put in a line that says under no circumstances is accrued vacation leave allowed to be greater than 4 weeks. So you're addressing 2 things. One, the accrual bank, and 2, the use. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good.
John,
not sure.
What about like allowing the 1 week?
Right. Well,
I'm thinking about
What do you
another
think about that?
situation also.
okay.
And that is, let's say, whatever length of time you have, let's say 4 weeks. You take your 4 weeks this year, can you take that for the last 4 weeks of the year, and then take your 4 weeks for the next year at the beginning, so you get 8 weeks off all in a row?
Well, the thing that prevents that would be all vacation time must be approved by your supervisor. So your supervisor has to say, no can do, unless they think it's okay to be gone for it.
Which maybe they would do if there was a medical issue that had to be taken care of.
Right.
So does this allow a 2-week vacation time person to be able to, at some point in a couple of years, take 4 weeks?
They could, but remember, your stopgap is always your manager. As a manager, you should be watching, and you know, you have an employee who's never gone. I mean, I do it with my employees. I tell them, I have one who's got 4 weeks on the book. If she goes a week or a month, 2 months without taking time, when are you scheduling your next vacation? I don't want you to get to the end of the year, and then all of a sudden need 2 weeks off, right around county board meetings, or something like that. So that is your other point in all of this. As a manager, it's your responsibility to manage your employees' time as well. I mean, it's on their pay stub. All pay stubs go to the manager. It's there every time. Somebody's got a whole bunch of time. You're thinking to yourself, that's the last time they took a vacation. I should look into this. You should be watching and helping to manage. That's part of managing your income. I think I do that. Every time we get a paycheck, I look at that everyone. I go keep up a spreadsheet. I know how much vacation time every employee has at any given time, because I don't want to get into a situation where things got me. So I make sure that they use. They've got 4 weeks vacation, and I try to make sure that they use that in that year, or encourage them to use that in that year, because and I know that I'm going back to the previous policy, the previous one said that I think that with department head, maybe this one's going to do, I don't know. But I don't have it in mind. But I told them, up front when they were hired, that I want to approve to carry over, so you've got 3 months vacation built up, and you take 3 months off, because it'll put everybody in line. Now, the one thing we could do to soften it a little bit is on the accrued leave, if you want to, if you're worried about somebody losing it, instead of saying under no circumstances, say, just say the accrued vacation time should not exceed 4 weeks at any given time. And then any variance of this policy must be approved in writing by a department manager. You could do that, which gives you a little bit of leeway.
I wouldn't use the word should, though. I would leave that part of it, and just put the part about the supervisor approve of variance. Using the word.
You want me to leave out the part where they can turn in any accrued vacation for pay, we don't even address it? Or do you want me to say we don't allow it? Or do you want me to be silent on that?
If we're silent on it, then that gives the option to the department head, correct?
I think unpaid vacation, if you've accrued it, you're entitled to upon separation of employment.
Yeah, that's law. That's wage and hour law.
So
That should be stated in here,
I guess we don't want to be paying 4 weeks either. I mean, if they've accrued 4 weeks, we'll pay them maximum 2.
Well,
And they must take the other, unless they're fired, they must take it before they terminate.
Well, and I'll tell you the other thing, most of our people that retire, a lot of them, they will retire like the day after their their anniversary date. Because remember, we don't let our vacation days start. You accrue the year. You're given it the 1 year anniversary. So the wage and hour law, and Jim can correct me if I'm wrong, has always needs to say you're earning it as you go, and once you've given it, you've already earned it. I mean, it is law that you cannot not pay people their accrued vacation. You can't do that.
So normally, that's what you end up having to do?
Yes. And in our policy, we say upon separation, employees will be paid for unused vacation.
Okay, so that's already covered in 4 weeks, and then they'll have to pay out 8 or 9 weeks.
Exactly what Jim
Yeah, it's a budget buster.
Yeah.
Okay. It's already covered.
Do we want to have these changes made and maybe do it again next month, or do you want to go ahead and approve it with these changes today?
I think we need to get these changes in black and white so everybody knows exactly what we're doing. Just in case Anita forgot what she said. We do have it on a audio system now that should have it locked in.
All right, so
Let's get it in black and white from us.
we're going to table this till next month, pending revision of that part. Okay, now we'll come to the next one. Now we come to the next one about personal leave.
So as this is all going on, and I'm looking for a policy, I realize we don't have a policy on personal days for in our personnel manual. Non-union employees have historically always given, I would say, historically since I've been here, 1 day on December 1st, first day of the fiscal year. It's a use it or lose it. So, and that's the way it's always been. We don't have it documented. The union contract, FOP, all the FOPs are 1 day on their anniversary date. The AFSCME contract is the only one where this is the only part where AFSCME is more lucrative than anybody else. They get 2 days a year. One on December 1st, and one on their anniversary date. The one they get on December 1st is use it or lose it. The one on their anniversary date, if they don't use that one, come their anniversary date, they get paid for it. That's in the contract. But since I remember when I started this years ago, I looked at on personal days for non-union people, and sometimes it was one, sometimes it was two. It didn't need to, but since I've been here, this is what we do. 1 day, December 1st, I've never had anybody not use it. So what I did draft the policy, what our practice has been over 5 years, and that has to be documented as well. So that's the copy of new policy number 677 that you have in front of you.
So this is a draft of a new copy?
Yeah, a new policy. We have never had it in writing.
This is totally new then.
What do you think?
I think we ought to get her done. Motion to approve personal day, number 1067.
Is there a second? Al Barron, second. Any questions?
Black and white.
Do we need to call a roll?
Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Barron?
Yep.
Bill?
Yep.
Sticknut?
Yes.
Okay, while we're talking about policy, Anita also brought forward a About the travel expense reimbursement, Jim, you may have some comments on whether we can, apparently this was never put in approved in writing in the policy. When we approved the travel expense process or an amount, back in January, I believe it was. But in any case, I guess it was never really adopted as a policy. Is that something we can do today, even though it's not on the agenda, or do we need to wait till next month?
We gotta wait.
Okay.
We need to wait 1 month.
Sounds good. Everybody has a copy of it.
Can I just explain what it is?
Yeah.
We can discuss it, but
It's the revised policy, and I gave you a copy of what it is now, and then what I highlighted there is what we approved December and January, that reflects the state law that went into effect January 1st. So the limits in the law, state law have to adopt limits. So we put that on our form, and you have to adopt standard form. So form. Did I attach that one too?
yeah.
Okay. Now the only other thing we should discuss, that one I want you to talk about, it's on what's on the form, what's not reimbursed. I can put that in the policy as well, so that's very well spelled out. But the other step that's not spelled out is meals reimbursed only with overnight stay or over 12-hour trip. That is not in our policy. It was on the form. I had somebody ask about it this month. They had employees that typically go to eat for a meeting that lasts hours, and they want to stop and lunch. And as part of that, they've always done it. They said it's not in our policy anywhere. I don't think we can change it now, but do you want to adopt that? It's not an unusual statement they have. I've looked at, I'm actually in the middle of writing a bunch of financial policies, so that's why I'm looking up a lot of policies. Almost every policy I have some sort of limit of how long you have gone, or what they'll pay if you've gone part of the day.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to a meeting like that, they would have had to eat anyway. Why are they eating there versus what they would normally do?
Could take a
I
second.
mean, I really don't whatever you decide. But like, for example, when I send somebody to go to an IAPA meeting, they have to buy their meal at the meeting, because it's a working lunch, and they have to hand in $10, and they're required to do that. So I like to reimburse them, because they're required to hold that down. They have an option of bringing their lunch, or it's not part of the registration. It's not. Because that's a free meeting. That's a, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Free meeting costs you $10. You can't bring your own lunch. Free meeting.
They sign up and they order you a lunch, you have to give them $10, but there's no different. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. I mean, it's not, I don't have any place that throws it over $10, believe me. But it would be nice to reimburse things like that. They're required to do. I think there's a difference between somebody going to a meeting someplace and stopping for like a 2-hour meeting and stopping and having lunch. But you're talking about they're gone for 10 hours lunch, but we have to pay for it. But they're not closed. So maybe it should not.
Well, or just say that if the meal is served at the meeting, then we'll reimburse for it.
Okay, so that's the point. I'm just throwing out the option here. Like I said, it's not a big issue. It really is. But there are meetings that you go to take a break for an hour, and then you back to that after that training. So I mean, really, somebody's going to try to carry a lunch to I would like to reimburse them. Honestly, I have not had the experience where they have gone out to $50 stay. $30 are better
I'm just saying.
From knowing the situation where you guys have, that would be the best way to word it.
Let the determine what for their department.
Yeah.
I think this is something that Anita and I talked about some time ago, because many years ago, the IRS adopted a policy that falls in line with what she said, that you have to stay overnight or be gone 12 hours. But it doesn't, that policy doesn't apply to government operations. And so that's why we're talking about that here, is we want to have a policy that's in line with what the IRS has for private corporations, or do we want to do something different?
I can take it off, but I mean, what we have to do is correct that form. You either have to put it in the policy and adopt it, or take it off form, because we can't have them split the information like that. That's confusing.
Why don't we do it this way, since we're going to discuss this next month? Why don't you put that in there so that it's there, and we can discuss it then, and if we don't want it, we can take it out.
Okay.
With or without.
Okay.
Would it work to have, you're going to have an overnight stay, what the wording should be?
Well, right now what it says is only with overnight stay or over 12-hour trip.
Unless approved by supervisor, would that solve the issue?
Or the plane crash.
You know,
We're going to stop that.
Want me to say that?
That's fine. Put it, we'll dissect it next time.
Or otherwise, like,
Flat tire.
Okay, next item is the update on the Illinois Bicentennial Initiative. Russell?
I have not heard nothing from them, and I was going to call yesterday, but nobody answered the phone by the time I made the call. So they might have their phone disconnected by now. What's the problem? It's in Springfield right now, we'll see.
Okay.
Just a few bumps, they'll take care of it in the next few months.
Anita, is there any update on the arbitrator ruling on the telecommunicator contract?
Not Pete.
Appointments, there will be some appointments made. I don't have anything finalized on that yet. We have some people here today from the Lotus Sanitary District. And I'm not sure if we want to take up the committee's time to do this. I would like to meet with them after the meeting, and since it's an appointment that's going to be brought before the full board, I don't think that's something that needs to take up the committee's time. But any committee members want to participate with that, they're welcome to do so.
Good lady.
Correspondence. National Land Realty.
Did you just inherit something?
Has to do with the solar wind farm. Sure, I quite understand. Addressed to the Iroquois County Board, talks about land in Kankakee County.
I may have put in mirrors and got a problem with that.
It says, for land such as yours, our client is typically paying up to $1,000 per acre per year for 1 year.
Well, imagine it's a good market.
I guess we need to get that letter back when they're down to
Don't it make
the
sense?
Planning and Zoning Committee. Okay, claims. We've got 2 claims this month. You got that on your sheet. Is there any comments or questions about the claims? If not, entertain a motion to approve. So moved. Al Behrens makes the motion to approve the claims. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Marvin seconds. Call the roll, please.
Bill?
Yes.
Sticknut?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
That motion is approved 4-0.